Go ahead.
Okay.
The category of tech that that we're kind of really well versed in today, we can do at an aggregation site, 80 to 100 gigabits per second, 2 gigabit per second edge connections to individual buildings. But
Wow.
the next version of
or G5?
no, it's a proprietary. So 5G
5G, yeah.
it's a 3GPP standard, and it's really one, it's super expensive because the protocol allows for mobile connections, which introduce all sorts of complexity when the device is moving, and it won't get into all the technicalities behind that. But we're using kind of an iteration of that, which is simplified, has all the advanced features for throughput, but doesn't need to support the mobility requirement, at least for the category of tech that we build in-house. Now, we do incorporate 5G boxes as an overlay into the network from third parties for circumstances where we want to offer mobile service. There's multiple use cases for that. Anyhow, the point I was getting at was that the next version of the semiconductors that we're using 10x the throughput. And so we'll go from, call it 100 gigabits at an aggregation site to a terabit per second, and 20, 25 gigabit connections to end users, all wirelessly. And and again, this tech is stood up to a year of diligence with Cisco, and we raised $300 million, and it's very mature tech now. So what's really exciting for me is when you marry that type of connectivity at the edge with NPUs, for AI, general purpose high power CPU. There's a new crop of some of the ARM processors that like what you see in the M3 for the Apple Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Super efficient, crazy amount of bandwidth and throughput in terms of the benchmarks. And you put 8 terabyte, basically a little mini AI server, and you connect it with that type of connectivity. You can start to build decentralized data centers that have crazy performance and scale much better than the way it's being done today. And that's very much what I'm focused on with kind of my new endeavor. So anyhow, long-winded intro, but that's kind of my background, whatnot.
What we'll do next is, JP, if you get a little bit of background about yourself, and then Kevin, if you could share with JP how the conversation went with the other night with the relationship with CanDAO and the company. And actually, let's talk about that for a second, if you don't mind. First of all, because you're in flow, can you share that with him, please? Like how you feel CanDAO?
Yeah, look, I think ultimately, CanDAO and Zeta is the name of my company, ZETA, which is going to be a DAO. We have the same world vision and just doing it different ways. And so, super synergistic, really excited to collaborate with them. And, the best kind of summary I could give is, seems like they're going at it more from a software, social media application layer, and I'm very much focused on the physical infrastructure, so the connectivity, the servers, the storage, the processing power, all of that.
So is Zeta a card processing, or is that the company?
No. So there's two companies that have formed. Zeta is going to be a DAO. I'm guessing you're familiar with a DAO.
Yes.
And so Zeta will actually be owned by the people who participate in the kind of, deployment of these boxes, which they're going to take the form of like Wi-Fi routers and repeaters on people's roofs. Wave Tech is a private for-profit company, Delaware C Corp, that has developed all the tech, will own all the IP associated with the various kind of technology that we're deploying, and we'll license it to the DAO. And then the DAO basically will own the underlying infrastructure. So the best way to think about what we're doing is, we have pretty amazing distribution channels in place. Some of them have deployed, million plus boxes in a couple year period. I would say within the next, call it, I don't know, 2-3 years, we'll have several million of various types of devices deployed in-home devices, in building boxes, which are the equivalent of servers, but also provide Wi-Fi connectivity as a dual function. But it's literally like a little mini computer.
Especially what's
And
possible
then,
with CanDAO distribution.
correct. CanDAO is one of the other distribution channels we're super excited about. And then outdoor boxes, which are like little repeaters, and build the connectivity layer of it. And but that infrastructure, just multiply. If you've got 50 teraops of AI compute, 8 terabytes of storage, 16 gigs of memory, and a really powerful M3 type processor, times a couple million of those boxes, all connected at multi-gigabit symmetric speeds, upload being the important factor there. That's an incredibly powerful platform. And so we're focused on the actual physical infrastructure layer, which a lot of people don't think about. These apps just magically run, but they're dependent on centralized, for the most part, data center driven architectures.
Well, and look what happened to True Social, right? With AWS.
Yeah. Or look at Parler, where AWS shut them down overnight.
Parler, excuse me, that's what I'm thinking about. Was it Parler and True Social, or just Parler?
There's a lot, but the bottom line is, like, companies like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure dominate this kind of space, and there's no reason for that. Now, so long as you can get fast enough symmetric connectivity to the edge, you can absolutely build compute platforms that are as performant as what they do, where you don't have the overhead. You don't have to pay for the electricity. You don't have to pay for the storage and the space and the water and the cooling and all those costs, which are just ongoing OpEx. And by getting people to buy the boxes and having intrinsic value in those boxes, that's why we have the dual purpose of Wi-Fi 7 built in. You get the servers paid for as well. And so it's basically you've turned all the CapEx and the OpEx into kind of a profit center, and you've given ownership back to the community. And you basically say, hey, look, come participate in this, and you guys are going to own part of the largest data center in the world, decentralized. So that's our kind of role in it. And CanDAO, what I'm really excited about with them is they have very similar worldview in terms of what they want to get to, going about it more from kind of the application layer of it.
Central
but
hub.
We very much see them as a app that could run on top of our infrastructure, and where there's a lot of synergies, where through CanDAO, there's a really robust both cash and tokens for being involved in our kind of distribution channel. And so there's a way for us to reward the CanDAO community for helping us build out this infrastructure. And vice versa, we think CanDAO can really help kind of get this through another distribution channel. And kind of when it's fully instantiated, ideally we could figure out a way to have CanDAO run a lot of its applications actually on our infrastructure without being reliant on data centers or other centralized partners. So
Yeah,
that's a long-winded answer, but that's kind of.
Can you also touch base on the tokenization of the data, that model within your system, please?
Yeah. So I talked about it being a DAO, and it's really funny because, like, with some of my partners and investors, this has always been a tension point, but it's something I'm just adamant on. I think it's actually going to, make it bigger by actually doing this. Some of my partners, investors want, the private for-profit company to own the infrastructure. And I say, no, I think it's a really important part of the story that the people own it. And so essentially, when someone buys our box, and to them, it's going to look like they're buying like a Wi-Fi 7 box. That's what it looks and feels like. It just happens to have a really powerful computer in it. But when they buy that box, it's literally a mini server. They'll deploy it in their home, and basically, and we're working with really, really top-notch tokenomics guy to really figure out the right tokenomics structure for it. Do you have a finite supply? Do you have a supply attached to the amount of boxes you have? Is there de-escalating kind of reward? All of that stuff that's not my area of expertise. But we've got a really sharp guy, economist, professor, been in the space for a while, and happy to kind of give you guys a readout on that when he comes back with his information. Anyhow, the way that I view it is that unlike other cryptocurrencies out there, which basically there's nothing of value really backing them. It's like fiat. It's just kind of people's speculation on what they think it's going to be worth, but there's nothing inherently value. What we're wanting to do is, so you look at the analogy I always use is the petrodollar, where the dollar's been fiat since 70s when Nixon took us off the gold standard, but it still remained powerful in the global reserve currency because Kissinger was really smart and did a deal with the Saudis and OPEC and said, hey, don't sell your oil in any currency except for dollars. And then it forced other countries to buy the dollar in order to get oil, which is one of the most important commodities out there. And so essentially the dollar has been backed by oil since the 70s until recently. And so following that analogy, when you look into the future, there's going to be nothing more valuable than not just compute, AI compute, general purpose compute. So think GPU, CPU, NPU is a variant of GPU that is more specialized for AI processing. But, storage, hard drive space, memory, but connectivity as well is going to be increasingly important because that data needs to be shuffled all over the world. And so when you think of that as like the new oil, which it very much is, compute, storage, memory, connectivity, we're going to tokenize all of those assets. And the only way, and it'll be very valuable, the types of services we're going to be able to sell are everything from, fixed internet connections to businesses and homes, mobile connections, and partnerships with some of the larger mobile companies like T-Mobile, but also compute services, storage services, cloud replacement services. Think of like Dropbox or AI compute. There's plenty of companies out there that have crazy market caps that literally just offer AI compute and data centers. And so all of those have a tremendous potential for generating revenue. And the DAO's function is going to be to take that revenue and convert it to tokens. And the only way that someone will be able to purchase services on that infrastructure is using the tokens. And so it's going to build in this entrenched economy, whereas unlike other tokens on the market, that's why I think this is going to be so big very, very quickly. Unlike other tokens out there, this revenue source, which will be in the hundreds of millions monthly over time, is going to go into the market, and it's going to create a floor. There will always be kind of a buyer for these tokens, and the only way to get the token is to deploy the boxes. And so by having that kind of entrenched economy, essentially it's putting kind of a value, it's tokenizing all of those assets, and then giving a guaranteed revenue stream to buy those tokens up as they get deployed into the network. Anyhow, hopefully that answers your question, Ryan. I did a decent job of it.
Yeah. Excellent. It's really impressive. WeLink, I saw on the web here that you're out in Phoenix, Arizona as well.
Phoenix, Vegas, Tucson, Washington, D.C., LA, Dallas. We're in a number of markets.
Are those boxes available now?
So don't confuse. WeLink was my last company.
Okay.
And I've since left and started a new company. Long story, but the short of it was we got a term sheet from a big household name company to sell they wanted to white label our products, and I got an offer to buy for the company to be bought from me. Which I should have said yes. I would have had $100 million if I'd said yes, but I said no because I thought it was undervalued. And then we got into kind of a pretty hostile takeover type situation for about a year, and ultimately I left. So unfortunate story, but look, the company I built, really proud of it. The IP and the tech, what we did was pretty amazing, and it's a very successful large company. So
Okay.
that was really me. I literally started that from scratch. I was employee number one. I hired all the employees. I built all the team, raised all the funding, raised $300 million while I was there. But what I would tell you is that all the really important folks have been loyal to me in terms of like who developed the tech, and you know, similar capabilities and what we are building now without violating any of my previous IP. We've certainly improved upon it in many, many aspects. So
Ryan, we can't hear you.
JP, what I was going to share next is if you could kind of get a little bit about your background. Also, you've been with CanDAO for a week, and you've been involved in Bitcoin for a very long time. And so you understand the potential of this social media cryptocurrency, and where do you see this going?
Yeah. So my background is probably important here. I'm ex-Microsoft, ex-Boeing, and I even worked in the banking system, developing banking portals back in 1999 to 2000 when Clinton was in office, and we developed the latest portals for the banking infrastructure out there. After that, basically, I just started building my own companies. And one of the companies I built 8 years ago was Next Gen Living Homes. And the whole design process behind it was how can we integrate homes into Bitcoin? And, you know, we've all heard about robotics taking over jobs, machines doing all the work. So why can't we have the same robotics take over your mortgage payment? And so by bundling, putting together a Bitcoin mining facility and a ultra high-end luxury home, and finding the right power sources out there, you could basically change that mortgage infrastructure from a 30-year mortgage or 40-year mortgage or lifetime mortgage. I'm on a lifetime mortgage for the last 4 houses, because when you get a traditional mortgage out there, the first 10 years of the mortgage is interest only. So that means you haven't paid a penny off your mortgage. There's no premium payment. And so you're stuck with a ball and chain on your ankle your entire life, no matter what you think. So I was waiting for Bitcoin. I got into Bitcoin. I heard about it in 2011, read the white paper, and the light bulb went on instantly. And I said, yeah, this is the future. You can be the banker. But we have to wait for the price of Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin to go up. And when it reached $29,000 a Bitcoin, that's when the mortgage scenario actually fell into place. And instead of having a 30, 40, or lifetime mortgage, you can have a 2-year mortgage. And today we're at 64,000, I believe. And you know, that's double what the aha moment was at 29,000. So what I've put together is a proposal for a Bitcoin mining facility that's not in your home. It's a dedicated data center in a tax-free zone. So there's no taxes. That could be in the Bahamas, the Cayman Islands, Dubai, even Monaco. So Monaco, and 100% tax-free. And through my travels over the last 10, 15 years, I've looked into energy sources all over the world. And I actually came across an energy source that is a power plant that you can have a 4-megawatt power plant, a 10-megawatt, even a 100-megawatt power plant, but your cost of energy is 1 cent per kilowatt per hour. So if you were in the Bahamas where it's 35 cents per kilowatt on the grid, you wouldn't be buying any energy from them. You'd have your own power plant on the island.
Is it like a biomass type production?
Actually, it's electromagnetic generators with solar components to it, and
Okay.
steam similar to nuclear plants, but instead of throwing the steam off through the large opening in the nuclear plant, this is a closed loop environment that keeps the steam inside, and then through the propeller system in there, it's generating just like in a hydroelectric dam, where you have a doorway that opens up, water rushes through, it
Yep.
hits a propeller, and then it turns an electric generator to produce energy. So it's the same concept, but it's using electromagnetic generation and solar combined. And the key
So
here,
solar is basically heating up the water, and then the water's turning into steam, and then similar concept to nuclear, and then the steam's turning the turbines.
a little bit like that, but the actual equation is solar is just charging a small rack of batteries.
Oh, okay.
And the batteries start the electromagnetic generator, and that generator then is running full time because it's powered by the batteries. And once you have the electromagnetic generator running, it's producing, I don't know, 64,000 degrees of heat for the steam turbines to work. And once the steam turbines
That's
are working, you've got your energy.
fascinating.
So by owning this rather than going on the grid, you have a fixed cost. I've developed a package, a bundle where we have the ultra high-end luxury homes built anywhere in the world. So if you want it in Malibu or in Florida, or if you want it in the Cayman Islands, or hey, maybe Marbella, in Marbella, Spain, you want your house there, that's fine. And then the data center, you put in a tax-free zone, as I said, maybe it's the Bahamas or the Cayman Islands. Um, and you bring your power plant there, and you don't feed off the grid. You have your own power source. So once you have that, with Bitcoin at a certain price valuation, we install a 15 megawatt power plant for the home, and for the data center, and 2 megawatts for the home. So you can even have your house built on an island that has no energy, and you bring your power plant to the home with 2 megawatts. And that's plenty of energy for these ultra high-end luxury homes. Let me do a screen share here so we can take a look at one of these homes. Host disabled. Ryan, are you available?
Yes, 1 second, please.
Okay.
Making you host more. Okay. Make host, got it.
Okay.
Change it.
Almost there. Share. All right. Good. So turn the volume off on that, and we'll just, so this is the flagship home called the Bitcoin House, and it's the first one of a series of 3 homes that are ultra high-end residential homes. And this particular home is modeled to be built in Monaco. So basically, it's a tax-free zone as well. This is a 3-story home. It's 26,000 square feet, 15 bedrooms, 3 swimming pools, 3 kitchens. And it has a 360-degree jet stream pool going around the house with 9 bedrooms connected to those pools. So you can actually dip into the pool, and the jet stream will push you around the house.
Oh, cool.
Hey, JP, what I want to share with Kevin is, think about this as like, as we grow this social media network worldwide, and we have influencers come in and stay at the house for extended periods of time doing, live cameras and showing people how big this thing, instead of a Bitcoin logo in the middle, for example, it could be a CanDAO logo, for example. Okay, go ahead, JP.
Yeah, I really think the CanDAO system is a great system, and it could really make this happen. Absolutely. I like the model. Ryan's introduced me to a few different concepts out there. One of the things that he mentioned is that there is a device now that is a USB connector, little USB device that has a chip in it and software, and you can add it to your Bitcoin miners, and it can improve the production um, and the earning potential of your Bitcoin miners by maybe up to 300%. So if we take that into consideration, and we also have no taxes, and we have the lowest cost of energy in the world, our ROI is through the roof. It's under 2 years. And if you have a 2-year mortgage and it's all being paid, so you don't have a mortgage payment, you put 50% down on these homes. And the other 50%, we finance everything and through the Bitcoin mining facility. The mining facility pays for that mortgage. And after 2 years, what happens after 2 years? You still own the mining facility. You own it 100%. We only manage it. So all the earnings that you get from that mining facility becomes an income generation home. So that package allows you to have income generation, and we're talking about anywhere from 20 million to $50 million a month income from the mining facility based on the price of Bitcoin. So this has been the dream of all dreams, to have the freedom not to have a mortgage, to own your home outright, and to have an income generation while you're living there. So I think Bitcoin has opened that doorway for us.
Very cool. Beautiful, beautiful home.
So it'd be great publicity for the influencers to come over. You know, you got cameras all over the place with CanDAO signs inside, inviting people to come over here, stay a month or whatever, you know, and just help just bring this out, because this thing definitely draws attention, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, this model was designed almost now going on 5 years ago, and we've improved and upscaled the entire interior. It's much grander. In fact, the screen behind me, this is one of the particular new designs. But in the chat, I gave you a couple of links. If you want to copy those links, you can actually see some of the stuff, the new stuff that's just we've just finished designing. But we're doing a lot of new ultra high-end luxury stuff, especially in our kitchen area as well. And we've been trying to invite some famous chefs to come on board. We're also launching a magazine called Billionaire Magazine, and there's a link for that as well. And in Billionaire Magazine, I've got a unique proposition. There's no advertising fee for the magazine to be in there, because it's a joint partnership magazine that everyone that's in the magazine becomes a marketing partner, and through their own subscriber list and their own social media followers, they would distribute the magazine. And so it becomes sort of a marketing, giant for all these companies to multi-market their high-end services. So I'm talking about luxury private jets, exotic cars, super yachts, the Bitcoin houses, everything at that scale. So the Billionaire Magazine would cover everything that you'd like to have as a gadget or toy or technology. So we're inviting a lot of companies to come on board for that.
And see, the thing about that's cool, Kevin, in this case, you know, a commission on this would be $2.5 million. We are selling these homes through the CanDAO network, which you take that 2.5 million, as I shared with you earlier on, you break it up 50 levels deep, it's $50,000 whenever someone, you know, because
Yeah.
that. So JP, if we could pause this for a second before we get into the garage and stuff like this, and would you mind open up that spreadsheet real quick about the viral growth of CanDAO, please?
Sure.
This is going to blow your mind here, Kevin. So scope this out. What we did was we ran 3 to 4 scenarios here this morning. JP and I did, Kevin. And this is if you came into CanDAO for free and told people about, 2 people about this, and they went down and told 2 people about this. And what we see, keep in mind, there's 50 levels deep right here. The green line represents where we pass over 1 billion people in our matrix, in our friendship thing. This is going to spread faster than coronavirus, is what our analytics people are telling us right now. Okay. And you can see the red means that we've actually passed over the global population, which in the first case right here at 2 people starting out getting 2, that line was at line 30. That passed over 1 billion people in your thing right there. So I'm not talking 1 million people monetized underneath you. People will have tens of millions of people, if not 100 million, if not 1 billion. I personally am shooting for 1 billion. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Here, you see that, Kevin? 8.5 million people. Let's go to the second scenario. This right here is this is on the 10 thing. So starting off with 10 people, those 10 people right there got 2 people each. Like, let's say you personally just told 10 people about this on Frontline. Comprende? Okay.
Yep.
And then everyone else didn't tell 10 people. They only told 2 people down. So now look what happens here, brother. That on line, what is this roughly here? The lines
22?
here. 22. Yes, line 22, Kevin. That's our breaking point of 1 billion people instead of, you can see the green lines going up, correct? And also we are now 3 lines away for the passing global population. Okay, here's a trend here because the trend is those lines are coming together. Let's move to the third scenario, please. Okay. This is if you brought 50 people in, Kevin, and I've already brought 85 people in within the first 2 months personally, but I keep giving people away nonstop to people. Okay. So in this scenario, you can see now the red and green lines are together, correct? Okay. That means we passed over 1 billion people in line 6 right there. Crazy, right? Crazy. Just 50 people. You run today as fast as you can to get 50 people, okay? And just crack some whips. They go not too hard because they're only getting 2 people, right? We're taking it easy on these people. They go down, boom, and look at that, 31 billion people. You could take the 8 billion people on Earth, and now we got to find another 24 billion people basically on another galactic plane, okay? Now let's go to the next one, okay?
We got to invent hypersonic space travel for that.
Exactly. Guess what?
Antarctica.
We're going to sell rockets. Or, I mean, what's stopping us from bringing either Elon Musk's ticket for sales for the things? Because there's no way Twitter's going to be able to do something like what we've done right here. Okay, this is all blockchains in the world tying together, not just a Dogecoin silly scenario. Okay, this right here. Elon doesn't know that too much about crypto. Okay. My point is now our chance. It's funny that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk never got together, right? To do something like this, right? So now we can sell rides for Elon Musk's jet, rockets or Jeff Bezos rockets right here. Question is who's going to pay more in commissions out to the field through the monetization social grid? So it has an impact across the global economy where now it creates competition to one, for the person to create the best product, and number 2, how much they're willing to pay out to all the influencers, and everyone's an influence on our platform. But getting back to this one, I will pass over 100 people tomorrow, just a heads up. And guess what, brother? I'm going for 1,000 people on my front lines. I got 14,000 people on my phone. That's going to be a done deal. 1,000 people on my front lines. Okay. Now look what happens right here, Kevin. You see what I'm saying? Look at this, Kevin, line 5, 1 billion people, 1 billion with a B. Line 6, we're into intergalactic. Where to? How many people we got now? Slide to the right, please.
31
billion.
billion.
We're at 100 front lines. Go over, please. I believe, right?
Okay.
Yeah, correct. We are at, Kevin, we got to find homes for 12 more. We got to find.
Fine. Can I ask you a question? So is the app done? Meaning, is there an actual user experience?
Yes, it's all user experience right now. We need to find, though, just completing this, another 12 billion people in other planets. They could be other life forms to come into our system.
Crazy.
Okay. I don't know. There's no cool tokenomics about COVID. Okay. But when you have a cryptocurrency, what do you think is going to happen to this coin when every blockchain in the world ties into it? And what happens when we're decentralizing the whole entire thing, the data centers, and we got a few of these mansions across the place? This is a core. Listen, the tokenomics of this coin are very simple. This is how easy it is. We've already ran the tokenomics in this scenario. Yeah, keep playing. Thank you for the background here. You're gonna love this, bro. This is a fun little thing. Okay. We're going for pina coladas and riding down the river together right now, talking about the tokenomics, us three here. Okay. So scope this. We have the coin is going to be basically 5 cents when it launches in September. When that coin, we put that in a chat GPT, OpenAI, Robert did. I think you think Robert's a great guy, or he said he is. He's pretty smart, humanitarian. He says that they showed in chat GPT that in 3 years, conservatively speaking, not including all the power moves that we're putting together as awesome guys here, okay, that coin will be $100 a coin in 3 years. That means if you put $2,000 in at infancy stages in September, okay, and I've experienced this before, okay, that coin, what is that's $2,000 makes $1 million coins, excuse me, because that 5 cents a coin, right? You follow me so far? 5 cents a coin divided by times $2,000 is 1 million coins. That's my point, okay? Yeah. What is $1 million? When that coin hits $1 million, easy math for you, Kevin. What is $1 million times $100 a coin?
100 million.
Okay, Kevin, we have tokenomics on this. It's said in 5 years without even going viral. What happens when it becomes hypothetically $1,000 a coin times that million real quick?
Yeah, crazy. $1 billion.
$1 billion. Kevin, just imagine that doesn't even include all the commissions of every single product, whether it's private jets, $100 million jets, or these $200 billion homes right here, or your servers, things of your stuff right there, or health and wellness products, or clothing, or coffee, or whatever it may be. I'm predicting that people are going to be like, look, if you're not selling your stuff somehow tied to this social media platform, we're not going to support you. It's going to be boycotting when this thing goes viral. You see what happens here?
Yeah. Super cool.
So yes, and so we can all have some of these houses, but that's my goal is I want to have the first house of this. We're going to make it happen. And I mean, Brock Pierce, he comes in, whatever, we can get this house going extremely quickly. A billionaire would throw down $250,000 just to go ahead and blow, $250 million just to blow, I mean, it was 55 billion, I believe, is what, or was it 51 billion that Twitter sold for, right? It had no monetization for the people whatsoever. Think about that. We're talking $1 trillion plus industry just in social media alone, not including how this changes all of Web3 moving forward, becoming the portal going through this. We don't need 2 Apple Store Droid stores, no division. We need 1 moving into Web3. And by the way, guess what? In addition to this, my partner has the master patent for augmented reality. So he was going to sell this to Elon Musk it's valued at $160 billion. I'm going to text you the link so you can see this. If you go to spychatter.net, you'll see the patent. His name is Augustino. He called me the other day. He was having lunch with Andrew Bocelli after I showed him that I was talking to Brock Pierce. Called me at lunch. The opera singer Andrew Bocelli is right next to him. He tells me, him and I have been trying to sell this through our mutual friends, Elon Musk, for Twitter here. Check out this parking garage, okay? And it never happened the past year and a half. I've been going through all of our mutual friends of even Brock Pierce trying to get to Elon Musk. It didn't happen. But guess what, brother? Apple, Meta, okay, and Google and Pokemon, along with a whole bunch of others, have been infringing on the master patent of augmented reality for the past 15 years. We are going to send out cease and desist letters to all these companies out there, and he has agreed to, because I was going to make a $16 million commission selling this to Elon if it was to happen for $16 billion. Okay, it didn't happen. Okay, it's evaluated. Guess who his chief financial officer is? The second biggest person in Chase Bank, the second biggest person in Chase Bank. I have a call with him this week. Okay. So we are bringing augmented reality. Wouldn't you agree that augmented reality patent would be the proper way into the metaverse in the future? Would you agree? Okay, so imagine you create a publicity stunt and you say, hey, look, you send out cease and desist to all these technocrat companies, and you say, and you wrap it with a whole bunch of news publicity, how that this incentivized social media network has a coin that's just freaking skyrocketing, and people are monetizing their data and their relationships for life, and all 1,000 blockchains are tying into this. And Google never had a social media network, but now we're putting them on point, and we're wrapping this in news publicity, telling them they have to cease and desist. We don't want to go into a 10-year lawsuit. That's a waste of freaking money. We want the publicity, but we'll settle out of court for them to merge into the CanDAO ecosystem. Google never pulled off a social media network. Pokemon never pulled off. They kind of, tried or whatever, But what we do is we say, I'm just thinking out loud here. We say, look, Google, that's cool. We'll make you the preferred search engine for this. Obviously going decentralized and protected with your identity protected. We know how they like to collect data, right? And we tell Pokemon, hey, you guys can continue using our AR augmented reality technology if you use our CDO token as the only cryptocurrency. You see what I'm saying? Google, you have to use cryptocurrency, or we will keep pressing press releases and then go find another search engine to go ahead and team up with. We will go straight to Yahoo, or we'll go straight to, we will take Brave, something deep. I'm sure JP is like, what are you talking about? We need we need a search engine that is freaking encrypted or whatever, right, JP? You follow this? Kevin, is this crazy?
Oh, yeah. It's huge. It's a huge idea. It's huge.
But doesn't it make sense, though, what I put together here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Here you go. This is JP's other one. I'm not focusing on this. I'm staying very focused. This is a big old one with a basketball court and all kinds. It's how much is the price on this one, brother? This is 6,000.
377 million, and it's 46,000 square feet, not 4,600, 46,000 square feet.
Wow.
27,000 square feet is the home. And the basketball facility is another 20,000 square feet. It's a full regulation size indoor basketball facility with all the bells and whistles of a high-end gym.
Wow.
With everything in it. So it's designed for elite basketball players that have big families and that want to work out at their own gym.
Very cool.
That's the conclusion right there, brother. You've seen, again, it's awesome connecting you guys. And, any questions at all? I hope you found this worth your time today, Kevin. You learned about JP. I value your thoughts on this decentralization, the value that brings to CanDAO at the same time.
No, it's all super fascinating stuff. And I think there's this kind of this network effect of relationships and business opportunities and new business models that kind of all of this can enable. So I think it's all very cool, very interesting stuff.
Exactly.
Where are you located?
I'm located in Utah. So there's a little area called Silicon Slopes, about 30 miles south of
okay. Yeah.
Lehigh. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The area was like, there's nothing but farms out there 10 years ago, and there's now been, I don't know, half a dozen $1 billion startups come out of there. It's crazy.
Nice. Yep. So I'm down in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona, and
okay.
So pretty close.
What city?
Actually in Gilbert.
Oh,
Arizona.
okay. Should order WeLink service. It's in Gilbert.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're in Gilbert. I know they were in Chandler, Mesa, Avondale, Peoria, but I think they're pretty close to the woods.
I'll definitely look into it. Absolutely.
Much better than go read the reviews, but people love it. And you can get 2 gigs down, 2 gigs up for $70 a month.
That is amazing. That's really amazing. 2 gigs up and 2 gigs down. Wow. Oh, super fast.
They may have changed the pricing since I haven't been there for a year now, but well, super nice to meet you. And Ryan, thanks for making the connection. I look forward to working with you both.
Thank
Kevin,
you.
great meeting you. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Heavy screen share.